by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So Nuoff in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Hay deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed more and forward up ahead. He's got out of line. Is now Pike going to have a go at Werrell? Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such up. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's allowed to have fun. Yeah, and it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching. The Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
Does he have it?
Medeiros is going to get it.
They're going to toss it. They haven't got it.
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still start chopper. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry.
Good evening and welcome to Evolution Sim Racing on JPB Broadcasting. It is Stephen Karabelas on the mic, joined by Dean Biggles. Good evening, Dean. How are you doing this evening?
Absolutely great. Thank you. Good to be back. Of course, that we are back live, of course, in the Watkins, Glen, upstate New York. Is a place that we'll be traveling these cars around this evening. 30 or so, 4 of them actually. We're about to get way under the race, but before that, we have to go through the grid order and see who's managed to put it on pole. There it is, my friend.
Yeah, certainly do. It's Luke Lucchese who's taking pole this evening, but only by almost a tenth over his teammate Tristan Dinobrega. It's Rhys Saunders down there in P3, starting on the second row with Paul Cowdershaw joining him. Ewan Stitchbury in P5, and Piers Berry, who is actually a pro driver, there in P6. It's Aaron Kirby in P7 and Jeremy Earlemans in P8. Joe Glass leads the way in the Pro-Am category in P9, and Scott Kostrich, who's still on a good charge there in the championship in P10 on the second row of the grid and technically in his class. Daniel Nans in P3 in class, P11 overall, followed by Nathan Crook in P12, the highest of the ARM drivers. Brian Demuy, Matthew Jones, Paul Robson, Phil McConaughey and Stephen Donnelly, Matthew Hoyland, Matt Barnett, Robert Aston, Gary Mitchell, Wesley Van Rens, Nicholas Newton and Hussein Sarah Carr Deslet make up the next 12 drivers, making up the top 24. And yeah, we're going to have a formation having a rolling start here. There's Jamal Gandua, Joseph Sparra, who was supposed to be, I believe, out playing guitar in Tamworth tonight, but he seems to have joined us. Unless that's somebody else called Jan Sparra in chat who's been getting in contact about that. It's Rob Mackay following in P27, and P28 belongs to Stephen Cakebread. And Richard Knight, John Ludbrook, Mark Robinson, Chris Keenan and Joseph Preston make up the rest of the grid. Looking forward to this one. Biggles, we're just in the town of Dix, just southwest of Watkins Glen in the state of New York. Yes, and Nate Lake, and this should be a fantastic race. This track, absolutely brilliant for racing, very wide, lots of lines you can take. Should give us a lot to go on and give us a lot of action, but we're shortly going to get underway here.
Yeah,
as
it's New
we
York.
are going to have a rolling start.
New York.
So, looks like it's going to be
sorry,
a full out lap, do you think? I think it looks like it's going to be a full out lap considering they've started on the pits today as well. But yeah, absolutely fantastic track for racing, like I would say. That boot, famous boot as well, added in 1971. And there was a couple of other minor changes to this track in 73 and in 1991 after the deaths of Francois Servet and J.D. McDuffie as well. But other than that, it's been remained largely unchanged since 1991. But yeah, absolutely great track. Obviously, lots of epic races have been held here over the years, and we're hoping for another one.
There's your current standings as well too. Situations on top of the pro standings as Rhys Saunders probably up in the P2 that position, and Aaron Kirby in the P3. We'll go over that in a little bit shortly. We'll just quickly show you the pro AMs of Matt Hoyland there, Daniel Nans, and Nicholas Nutinen. You can pronounce that. And then there's your AM class as well too, Matt Barnett, Nathan Crook, and Mark Robertson. As we'll continue, as we get a little bit of a breather, we'll go back and have a look over that. Again, the championship hunt is coming down to the nitty gritty now too, my friend, isn't it? Because obviously this is it. After this track, we have the final round of Silverstone.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one, especially one of my favourite tracks on the calendar. And yeah, starting to get to the business end of the season. We've got DXTV Live in chat saying, woo, we are back. And come on, DXT, always ever present with the support there from DXT. We've got Phil across the pond as well saying, even all an evening, Dean and Steve. Evening, Phil across the pond. Great to have you all here. Please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button as we head towards the heel now on the formation lap. And not be long before we get underway here at Watkins Glen. I'm very much looking forward to this race. It's going to be tight into turn 1 and pretty much single file through the S's, you would imagine, but there is definitely space all the way into that chicane, the inner loop, to go side by side. But once you get to the inner loop, it becomes very dangerous to have a car up the inside or on the outside. Very easy to bump somebody into a wall into that inner loop, and very difficult to keep your car under control if you hit the curb on the inside just at the wrong angle.
Yes.
I imagine we're going to see a few spins here.
You are correct. Yeah, let's hope you and drivers are going to try to keep as clean as possible. We've seen so many of the top guns, haven't we, throughout, make little errors and mistakes there at the start there, just trying to gain those positions, and of course that's it there facing around. But thankfully you have 2 races here tonight, our sprint race right now and our feature race will come up after with a reversed grid. Makes it even more interesting. But guess what? It's time to go racing.
We certainly are going racing. There's going to be a battle down into turn 1. Luke Casey is going to defend that inside line drastically as well, but already goes and takes the normal racing line back and gets into turn 1 nice and cleanly. It's a bit of a battle there with Paul Cowlishaw in the background as he goes side by side through turn 1 with, I believe it's Piers Berry. I apologise, but you would seem to have got the better room there and gets through unscathed. But Luke Casey leads over Tristan de Brega. Rhys Saunders in P3, Ewan Stitchbury follows in P4, Paul Cowlishaw P5, Piers Berry in P6, Aaron Kirby following close behind. You need to get a move on if he is to win this, get some points for the championship charge. He wants to get his hands on one of those trophies. He's slipping down in the order recently. We've got some side-by-side action in that. I think we've got a spin as well, and that looks like Tristan de Brega has managed to save that just about. What a power slide that was. That was unbelievable. He has dropped the order and got off again though, so got caught up in some shenanigans after the fact, and he's hit the barrier and he's now going very slowly, letting everybody go past, and trying to limp back to the pit in order to get his race back on track. But with very little time in this 20-minute heat, it's going to be difficult for him to do so. It looks like it's Paul Cowlishaw that he's come together with, because he's going slowly, no front bumper, and having to give up many places as well. That's already drama, lap 1.
Yeah, there is, isn't it? Like we saw that just briefly on the pictures. We'll go back and have a look at the replay. What exactly went wrong with that? Just a second.
Very much looking forward to seeing what got on, because he looked as though he got a big tongue slapper there. Managed to save it somehow. I don't know if he got punted back in the right direction, but obviously that wasn't enough to keep him.
The end of it too.
Wasn't enough to keep him out of it. We've got a Porsche going onto the grass to avoid all of the carnage as well. Here we have Joseph Sparrow coming round, and he gets tapped in the rear. There's a bit of a vortex of danger on that. He gets sideways and ends up right in the middle of the track and collects a Ferrari from the background, who's trying to just avoid him, but wasn't able to do so. I believe it's Jamal Gandua, just a bit of a tap there into the back, and then he blinked out of existence and straight into the back. Luke Lucchese still in the lead though. Rhys Saunders has managed to take P2 after Tristan de Brega's big accident there. Ewan Stitchbury gets promoted to P3, and it's looking odds on for a tasty battle here between Ewan Stitchbury and Rhys Saunders. Ewan Stitchbury right on his tail, but Luke Lucchese seems to have checked out at the moment. 1.8 seconds the gap, and he's living life large at the moment out front.
He certainly is. That's good for, obviously, our South African driver, but he got Stitchbury at the moment on the back there of Rhys Saunders, so he's keeping them up. They gained the 2 positions, of course, because we've dropped the other South African driver. And as well, too, as you can imagine, we do have Paul, who's still out there at the moment. Just come back out pit road, actually, there with the damage after his qualifying performance. Here's Matthew Hoyland under a little bit of pressure there from Matt Barnett.
Big train at the moment, the drag of the tow proving very valuable to a fair few of these drivers, but as the race goes on we'll start to see people spread out. But here goes Matt Barnett down the inside into the heel, and he gets the Lamborghini done and dusted there. Is he going to get ahead of it before the next corner, turn 9? Yes, he is, and that should be job done for the BMW driver of HYR. That's a great move, gotta say.
Oh, classic textbook overtaking opportunities that you see on the track map as well.
It'll be interesting as well to see how Tristan de Brega is going to fight back this one as well. He's obviously leading the championship by 97 points at the moment. This is going to dent his hopes of taking home that top spot trophy in the pro standings, but he has got a healthy lead. It's Rhys Saunders currently in P2 though, and he's in P2 in the championship as well. So he'll want to hopefully try and close in on Luke Lucchese, take maximum points here in this sprint. Got a bonnet that seems to be going a bit crazy on my screens. I don't know if that's the same for yours. Doesn't look like it is. But at the moment, Ewan Stitchbury still unable to get a hold of Rhys Saunders. Rhys Saunders doing everything that he needs to do in order to keep that man behind.
I think he is doing it. Oh, just dropped a little bit there, you see Stitchbury.
Got
Further back
DXTV
in the
live
field,
as well.
yeah. Here comes
DXT live in chat saying as well, is Phil McConaughey pro or am? I believe he is a pro driver. Apologies, I didn't mean to
No, you're right.
cut you off there.
Phil, oh, speaking of Phil.
Oh, Phil McConaughey is
No.
actually spot and he doesn't get it back going again very well at all. Gets a big time slapper and now, ooh, Porsche there. I believe that's Joseph Preston or it's Chris Keenan. I apologise.
Oh, going back up there.
He's that's going to be a big penalty coming his way for that dangerous. I don't know what he could have done. He would have had to have waited essentially for everybody to come past, but you can't just park your car in the middle of the road like that. That is poor from him. But yeah, look at that. Just gets a tank slapper. This is almost saves it there actually, and then I think he just gets his foot on the loud pedal just a bit early, and then yeah, can't be rejoining the track like that.
That seems a tap.
Got to stay put. Cannot tell, but Yorkshire T liveried Ferrari driver not having the best of times as it stands.
So you said he was a pro driver. I will get that fixed there in a second. Here's Matt Barnett. Oh!
Ooh,
Was that Matthew?
That was Matthew Hoyland. He's dropping down the order massively as well. There was a Porsche going sideways there as well. The year one driver in the Porsche, Stephen Donnelly, got very, very sideways. Almost took out Matt Barnett, the BMW driver there, into turn one as he slid through there absolutely sideways. I'm afraid it is not a drifting competition, my friend. You keep the car pointing forwards if you can. Absolutely love this livery here on this green Porsche there as well. The shark teeth on the front grille, absolutely fantastic looking car. Ewan Stitchbury though still unable to get hold of Rhys Saunders. He's starting to drop back bit by bit, lap after lap. Not quite sure he's got the pace to stick with Rhys Saunders. He's going to have to hope for a mistake of some type from Rhys, but as we well know there, Dean, he doesn't make many of them, does he?
No, not at all. Not at this level of competition. We'll get that sorted out still for the Pro and the AM. Something's a switched or something. We had it all correct there. There's Stephen. It's in a gaggle of cars. Got Gary Mitchell off the road there and Nicholas, our Finnish driver.
Nicholas Newton has been up and down season for him so far, getting several good finishes, but several bad ones as well. You've got to hope that he's got the pace there in the car, and he just maybe gets caught up in an incident or two at times, and that can cause him problems, cost him points. But Nathan Crook at the moment doing an absolutely fantastic job for the ARM drivers, showing that they're not to be trifled with either on pace. He's only 2 or 3 tenths behind Scott Kostridge there, the highest placed Pro-Am driver at the moment. That would be a vital 50 points for that man, as he's dropped down the order a little bit after a poor run last week, a 16th place and an 8th place. This week he's hoping to make amends and finish the season strongly. We've got Matthew Hoyland here looking to get involved in a three-way battle with Jamal Gandour and Joseph Sparrow, and this could get very interesting down this straight. This is going to be one of the best places to overtake, even though you've got to go single file pretty much through the chicane at the end. You get a very good tow down this long straight here. It looks like you want to have a bit of action into the chicane. It's very dangerous to go side by side in the chicane. Lots of space given to each other there, lots of respect, and Joseph Sparrow manages to stay ahead for the time being, as Jamal Gandour trying to take that place off him, doesn't manage to get it done and goes a little bit wide, but keeps it just about out of the barrier. Very dangerous corner, that one there, the outer loop. Got to get that just so as they head through chute and down into tow. Absolutely fantastic sector of the racetrack this. The boot, very, very difficult technically. You've got to get a very wide apex here in the tow and make sure you carry all of the speed down into the heel, which is honestly the toughest corner on the track in my opinion, this one. Very hard to get the car stopped, very hard, but you've got to keep that minimum speed up through the apex here. Very tough to get it right. If you get a bit too wide on the exit, that's okay, plenty of runoff. But at the moment, bit of a tank slapper there for Jamal Gandour as he gets a bit out of shape, and now he could be under a lot of threat from the Lamborghini behind. Matthew Hoyland, but doesn't look as though he's going to get a sniff at anything just yet.
Yeah.
Tight battle.
Oh, it absolutely is. Another tight battle at the start here. Here's Nathan Crook on the back there of Scotty Crossley. So that's interesting, isn't it? This is an AM driver just pushing on Scotty at the Pro AM. Bullying him around.
Going to go to the inside as well. He's looking to make this overtake by the looks of it, but he does tuck back in behind and maybe thinks better of it. Just wants to stick with the pace, but he has got Daniel Nance closing in on them now. And Scott Kostrich will be thinking, I don't particularly want to fight too hard with Nathan. If he is faster, it'd be worth letting him go so he can use his toe to create a gap to Daniel Nance. You need to work together, boys. But Daniel Nance now well within that toe. He's joined this little three-way battle and could make it very interesting.
Well, let's hope so. Daniel Nance is just lurking in the background, as you can see currently at the moment.
Oh, we've missed something at the lead. Rhys Saunders has taken the lead. Luke Casey must have made a mistake at some stage. And he's now 1 second behind Rhys Saunders. We totally missed that. That's so much of a surprise it was.
It shows him in our telemetry as he's gone in the pit lane, but he did not go in the pit lane. Let's have a look. Oh, there he's spun off. Yes, there it is there.
Doesn't look like he's got any damage to the car at all, but that would have been in the inner loop. Maybe just went a bit wide. You can't very much get... Oh, there, big... Oh, he does hit the barrier quite hard as well. Comes back onto the track and does very well to avoid Rhys Saunders going round his outside there as well. But that damage, don't know if that's going to be worthy of a pit stop in a 20-minute race. 10 minutes to go. He'll be absolutely gutted with that. He was flying, had a huge gap in front. Maybe he didn't need to push that hard. It's cost him big. And now Rhys Saunders has the opportunity here to gain big points on Tristan de Nobrega, who at the moment is down in P29, 11 seconds off the back of the field. And unable to fight back and... not long to go, 9 minutes to go.
And look at this now. You got Stitchberry wants to be onto the back there and even steal a few more points, but not doing it like that. My friend, he goes off track there, man. There's a little twitch of the oversteer and manages to correct it. Yes, they're pushing it like to the absolute limits of these machines at the moment. And you're kind of wondering, isn't it? At this position now, he's dropped back and might have to just settle there for a bit. See if those other drivers make mistakes up the road like you just saw before.
Yeah, Daniel Nance has managed to get past Nathan Crook in the background as well, and he's now going to try and take that fight to Scott Kostrich. Bit of a gap to make up. Might have lost some time in the battle with Nathan Crook. I hope there wasn't any contact, but we're on board now with Jeremy Ulemans, who's just behind Nathan Crook, and Daniel Nance just ahead of him, trying to chase down that multicoloured Porsche of Scott Kostrich for the win in the Pro-Am category. Luke Lucchese has managed to catch up to the back of Rhys Saunders as well. I'm wondering whether or not that damage isn't too bad, and maybe he's still got enough pace in the car to take Rhys Saunders back. He's certainly not giving up just yet, and Nathan Crook definitely not giving up at the moment. He's in a nice little spot here with a big gap behind him to Matt Barnett, but Matt Barnett is making inroads as well and doesn't want to leave it too long. 8 minutes remaining though in this sprint race before our feature race, and it's looking at a tasty battle so far. I imagine this feature race is going to be more of the same, but what do you think, Dean? Is there going to be some more strategy shenanigans and 200 IQ plays in the feature race today?
Oh, you'd hope so, wasn't it? And that made all the difference last week. If you'd tuned in, well, we'd played it earlier this week, of course, because we had to do a technical issues. But yes, that was certainly fun at Interlagos. Luca just noticed there on the last lap time, he just did a 44 flat and a 44.4 for Rhys. So he's definitely starting to reel him back in. So whatever damage he's got, it's not affecting his performance at the moment.
Yeah, it's definitely not got any kind of bending on his steering wheel at all. Almost certainly going to have to come in if you have got a bent steering wheel, because it does so massively affect your grip levels. Ooh, as there's a mistake from Daniel Nance, and that lets Nathan Crook get alongside, and down now they go. But Nathan Crook, Daniel Nance got the inside line into that corner, and that's part of the difficulty here of Watkins. It is fairly difficult to overtake. There's lots of opportunities to do so. There's lots of opportunities to go side by side, but that inside line in most corners is very, very powerful. There's a very wide line here from Jeremy Ulemans as he's trying to get around the outside of Nathan Crook, and does manage to do it. What a move that was. But if Nathan Crook just gave it to him a little bit, not wanting to fight particularly hard with a Pro-Am driver in the Am class. We've got an incident here, possibly between the two Porsches. He gets a bit frightened by the closing speed on the Porsche in front of him. Gets on the grass on the inside, and that's race done. And Wesley Van Rens here.
Oh, he went to avoid it.
Just he went wide to avoid it. Doesn't realise there's a lot less grip on the outside of that corner. The chute and the outer loop, and he pays the price for that. That's unfortunate for him. He's trying to keep himself safe and ends up in the barrier.
Yeah, a few drivers are really struggling at the moment. I'm seeing another notification here of Phil going off track again. Tristan's all the way down here at the moment, my dear friend. So
he has made up a place on Phil there. Obviously Phil's mistake, but he is making up time.
Comes Joe Glass
over the back of the field. But yeah, there's another battle for you in turn 1. Joe Glass and Nicholas Newton going at it hammer and tongs. Nicholas Newton, the white Ferrari there, the Finn, doing an excellent job in class at the moment, but he'll be wanting more points. He's going to be able to get the Porsche down this straight. He's going to go around the outside already. It's an interesting position to put the Ferrari, but he's got so much overspeed. The Ferrari's so quick in a straight line in comparison to the Porsche there. Absolutely made mincemeat of it, didn't it? That was like watching a race car against a road car down that straight, you've got to say. But here comes the Porsche back, trying to stick its nose down the inside, and that doesn't work out. Backs out.
Yeah, the other one looks like Matthew Jones also got overtaken. Did or not? No, they overtook actually Jeremy here, so both of them took Jeremy, which is interesting. I'm just curious.
I wonder if Jeremy must have made a mistake.
Yeah, let's have a look.
Yeah,
there he is. There's Jeremy on the outside there, 2-3-1. Yeah, there he is. Loses 2 places, unfortunately. And there's Jeremy currently at the moment. He's going to have a gaggle of cars, isn't he, behind him? But with that, a limited amount of time, we'll see, because there's Matt Barnett just down the road. We know Matty's definitely a driver that can outdrive his class, really, the other day, isn't it? Being in the AM class. And going to give it to his teammate, to the other driver, Nathan. Still quite up the road. Let's have a look at their group tower, just to give everybody an indication of where they are. Scotty leading the Pro AMs, Reese Saunders leading the Pros, and then there's Nathan, of course, leading Matt. But that, as you can see, it's going to be a nice tight fight down there for those drivers. And Luca, of course, has now managed to catch up. We kind of know he's snipping a little bit away at Reese Saunders per lap. But is he going to have enough time?
One thing that very much interests me is this championship battle in the Pro-Am category. It's Matthew Hoyland who leads over Daniel Nance by 18 points. Daniel Nance currently winning this race and well ahead of Matthew Hoyland at the moment, who's down in P20 overall. And Nicholas Newton has managed to claw his way up to P3 after some strong showings in the last couple of races. A P2 in the first heat last week, P4 in the feature race. And Matthew Jones only 3 points behind him. It's so tight. There's only 25, 30 points, 40 points separating the top 6. And Scott Kostrich is in that top 6 as well. So a win here, he's going to gain some big positions in that championship. And they'll all want to be getting their hands on that coveted CAME trophy that will be handed out to the top 5 drivers. Of course, we have got drop rounds as well, so that's going to make it even tighter. The points I'm talking about include the drop rounds, so I'm told. And so it is going to be interesting as well. A few drivers who have got maybe 1 or 2 bad races in their mix are going to be able to get those removed and from their championship. And everybody's got to remove at least 1. So somebody who's finished P1 pretty much every race is going to lose a lot more points.
Just having a look at where the
could be very interesting.
60 is trying to send this car at the moment. They're drastically catching. It looks like Rob up the road here. Steven, is it?
It is, but these 2 guys.
Hey, we're another South African driver.
And it's hammer and tongs in the background. He got out of shape there in the Porsche. There's Robert Aston, and loses the place then to Matthew Hoyland, who's on a recovery at the moment. But there's only a couple of minutes left here in this heat, and it looks like Reese Saunders, he's going to get it. It's going to be difficult for Luke Lucchese to get it, but we're going to have a battle to the death here. Luke Lucchese very close to the back of Reese Saunders at the moment, and this could be one for the ages. He's going to have to maybe try and force this move a little bit, and that can sometimes end in tears. And Reese Saunders, though, no damage to his car. He'll be hoping to just hang on for dear life here at this stage. The tow is going to be very strong, but they're both in the same car, the Ferrari. So it means that that top speed advantage of the Ferrari over other cars that are available isn't going to quite matter so much. Tow is definitely going to matter a fair bit as Matthew Hoyland gets re-overtaken by Robin Aston and is able to fight it back. That's the power of that tow down that back straight into the chicane.
That's massive. You can clearly see how quickly you can gain it, and then of course you just drop the speed off as soon as you just break that toe. Let's have a look too. Whether Nathan's going to take it to Daniel.
So he is.
Full
He's got the
send,
inside
yes, it will
line
be.
coming into the heel. It's going to be full send. He's going to maybe go for the switchback. Is Daniel Nance, or he's going to try and hold it around the outside. He's going to try and get the inside for the next one. Doesn't get it, and now he's in a battle with Matthew Jones behind the 158 driver in that white and blue Porsche. Looking to take advantage of any mistake there from Daniel Nance, but unable to get it done at the moment. But Daniel Nance would be hoping that he wanted to be further up and fighting with Scott Kostridge. Scott Kostridge seems to have done enough to win the Pro-Am category. Nathan Crook almost certainly won the Am category, but Rhys Saunders and Luke Lucchese, white flag waving. Last lap for them, last chance for Luke. And is the man going to be getting his lucky cheese out, or is he? Is it maybe going to go end in tears? Who knows what's going to happen between these front two drivers as they're going to battle it out for this final lap for the win.
What's lucky cheese? Never heard of that before.
It was just a joke. One of the guys said in the Discord because his name's Lucchese, and it's a difficult one to pronounce. So it's when I was asking the guys in Discord how to pronounce his name, that's what they said, and that's how I pronounced it because I thought we were being serious. We are going to have a checkered flag here as Luke Lucchese is trying his best to get this P1, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it. It's the moment's been and gone now. Not much of a chance to overtake in this final good sector. It's going to be a hell of a lunge if he does get it. But this maybe is a final chance into the heel, and it's not going to be on. And yeah, even if it was a little bit closer, I get the feeling that Rhys Saunders would have been able to defend that quite easily. You can see the wide line that to take there through the exit of heel to come through turns 9 and 10 for the final time in the heat race. Before we get ready for the feature race, it's going to be Rhys Saunders who takes the win over Luke Lucchese, and Ewan Stitchbury very handily comes in third. He's done an excellent job keeping himself clean. Aaron Kirby fourth and Piers Berry fifth. Piers Berry not a regular so far this season, man, sitting on very few points. I believe it's 60 points overall. You can compare that to the 300 to 400 that the top runners. He needs to get himself into more events, essentially. Paul Robson, the first driver to cross the line who was lapped, as Scott Kostridge now wins the Pro-Am category. Nathan Crook wins the Am category. Daniel Nance gets himself on a podium with Matthew Jones only a 10th behind him, battling all the way to the line. Brian Demuy following up. Nicholas Newton manages to get a decent finish here and give himself a good chance of overtaking a couple of people. Joe Glass not had one, and he would have wanted today. Maybe not. Maybe just lagging a little bit of pace here at Watkins Glen. It is a very, very tough track, this, I've got to say there, Dean. It's there's so many corners that are so difficult technically, not least turn 1, which you can very easily take if you take it cautiously, but if you take it at full tilt, very, very easy to get wrong.
We saw a lot, not on air, but I did see a lot when the practice sessions that they're doing. They were pushing it like mad, and all the best drivers, regardless of what class they're in, were fully sending it into the fence and stuff like that on many occasions, because pushing it to the limit to make sure that they can see what is the limit here at the Glen, and that's exactly what they've been doing. And obviously, even seeing it during the races now, aren't they making some mistakes? So we'll get those results coming up for you in just a second.
Of course, we are of course going to have a reverse top 20 grid here for the feature race. That might be reduced to a top 15 reverse if there aren't so many drivers, which we've got less this week than usual. We've had great turnouts all season long, though. Please, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. But here is your results. We've got Rhys Saunders winning the race over Luke Lucchese, only 3 tenths separating the two. Luke Lucchese making a mistake that cost him the win. Ewan Stitchbury comes home on the podium in P3. Aaron Kirby in P4. Piers Berry in P5. Scott Kostridge wins the Pro-Am category. Nathan Crook wins the Am category. And then it's Daniel Nance on the podium with Matthew Jones for the Pro-Ams, with Jeremy Ulemans in P6 overall for the Pro category for Team HYR. Matt Barnett comes in second in the Am category, with Brian Demuy following closely behind. Very little separating them two as well. It's then Nicholas Newton and Joe Glass and Gary Mitchell, followed by Rob Mackay. And then it's Matthew Hyland, who will be disappointed with that performance. He needs to get as many points as he can, as he's only got a lead of 18 points in the championship. You'll need to hope for a better return in the feature race. It's Robert Aston behind him, followed by Stephen Cakebread, Richard Knight, John Lugbrook, Tristan de Nebrega, who did manage to get some recovery done, but not quite enough. And that's going to hurt his chances in that title fight coming into the final race in Silverstone. Susayan Enquires, Sarah Carr Tesla, Paul Cowdershaw, McConaughey and Mark Robinson, followed by Paul Robson, make up the top 20, the rest of the 27. Joseph Sparrow, Jamal Gandua, Stephen Donnelly, and then I believe it's Preston beneath that. Some of those not finishing. Of course, number of laps down. Stephen Donnelly, 8 laps down. Looks like 9 for Preston. It's been an interesting one there. Lots of mistakes from drivers. A lot of them afflicted. A couple of taps. Love taps and things, but we've kind of got an idea, and the drivers have got an idea now there, Dean, for how difficult this track is to overtake. I wonder if that means that we're going to see more aggression here in this feature race, or whether people will be more patient. What do you think?
More aggression, I'd say, because you're especially getting down to the end of the season, aren't you? So they're going to have to give it for the further risk, and you can see that Tristan, of course, has got to try to maintain, because you look at that gap there of the points. I mean, it's quite a lot, isn't it? It's 97 points, the gap difference between him and Reece Saunders. But
I mean, that's already, taking a big chunk out of that in this one race. 50 points for the win goes to Reece Saunders for that one. So it's definitely going to close in a little bit. And Tristan de Brega then can't really afford more problems at all. And problems seem to find all race drivers at some point or another. So it'll be interesting to see if he changes his approach at all, whether he becomes more cautious and is more likely to accept a P3 if it means he doesn't have to take a risk that could put him out of the race entirely. Because as we know, we've all seen anything can happen in racing.
And Aaron's not here. See Aaron? Did you see Aaron? Didn't see Aaron.
Aaron Kirby in P4, yeah.
Sorry?
Aaron Kirby, P4 at the moment. Yeah, he is in today's session. If that's who he's up
okay, yeah, sorry. I didn't see him in the current session at the moment of the drivers that are on the grid. Anyway, the Pro AM class, as you mentioned, that's the tight one, isn't it? As well, so tight. You can easily, at this point, isn't any of those drivers could really, capable of flipping it around, isn't it? What would you say, even from?
I mean, it's already been shuffled quite a bit just from that heat race there. Scott Kostrich winning that one and will be gaining 50 points, 5 points over everybody else. Joe Glassy is almost certain to overtake. Matthew Jones, though, finishes in P3, so maybe a bit tougher to catch up to him. Only 10 points separating them today in that sprint race. But Nicholas Newton is showing that he's definitely got the wherewithal to be there or thereabouts as well, with a decent P4 here. And Daniel Nans been so consistent throughout the season. Matthew Holland, of course, got the most wins in the class, but he's had one to forget here in this sprint. And that's going to drop him quite a distance, I would imagine, off the top spot. And he's been leading that top spot for quite a while. It was a poor race last time out, P12, and a poor race 2 races before that as well, another P12, and it's all starting to build up a little bit. The pressure, isn't it, on him now? He's got something to think about. Elbows out in it, says Reece Saunders in chat. So he's ready for a battle in this feature race that's coming shortly. Just give you a quick reminder, guys, of the rules and how this league works. It is damage on this season. After first season was damage off. It's 17x for a drive-through, 20x for a DSQ, 2 fast repairs allowed. 1 drop points round calculator automatically, removing the lowest scoring round for all of the drivers. And going to be all the GT3 cars, I believe, are represented these days as well. So we'll have to bear with us a moment as we have got a disconnection, and we'll be rejoining with you as quick as possible. But I
do apologise about that. It seems to have kicked me for due to inactivity, which is quite unusual considering we were very, very active during that one.
Hopefully, it shouldn't take too long to reload. But yeah, we may miss. Hopefully, it's going to be another formation lap because we will have another rolling start, which is coming part way through the season. It's definitely made a difference that there as well, for sure. From my point of view, we did see a lot of first lap incidents on a standing start, which is to be expected with grids of these sizes. Absolutely fantastic job Evolution Sim Racing League is doing in terms of attracting drivers, and there will be more seasons to come, I'm sure. Sign-ups are always open, so get there in the Discord in the description. In YouTube, there will be a link to the Discord for you to sign up if you want to get involved. Yeah, certainly going to be very interesting words there from Reece Saunders as well, with the elbows out in it. Shout. I imagine he's going to be expecting a few tasty battles here. So You'll have to bear with us while we get these technical issues sorted. We are likely to miss some race starts, so apologise. Please let us know, though, in chat, who you think's going to win at this feature race, who you think's going to win which categories, and who you are rooting for. We'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons if you enjoy what you're seeing. We've got plenty more racing to come here as well. Racing almost every night of the week at JPB Broadcasting. And tonight, though, it is the penultimate round, Watkins Glen, here at Evolution Sim Racing.
The Glen that we all love, of course.
I have to say, I was extremely shocked when I was doing my research before the race to find out that it's not actually in this town of Watkins Glen. Watkins Glen is just a little bit up the road, and the town that this racetrack is in is actually called Dix. So there you have that. Currently, it's owned by NASCAR, and it opened in 1956 as well. And see here, a comparison here of the lap times that we've got, as I believe the race has got underway. We'll get the pictures to you as soon as we can. Apologies for the technical issues, but we will be shortly getting involved with what's going on. As soon as that gets underway, I believe it's probably just moving about at the moment because they're on the formation.
Loading back in, apologise about that one, as DXT Alive said he'll be on the track next season. That's great. Now we can get to pick on you as well too, my friend.
Yeah, certainly can. I'm afraid I won't be joining you, though. Maybe, I don't know if you already knew this at all, Dean Biggles, but I won't be with JPB after the end of this season.
Okay.
Deciding to focus on other aspects of life instead. So, new full-time job, a lot of hours being put in every week with all of the commentary. And honestly, I might be joining this league because that's one of the things I want to concentrate more on, because I haven't actually raced iRacing since the Spa 24, which was a good 2-3 months ago now, I think. And I find myself increasingly having less and less time to actually race myself, which is one of the reasons I shall be giving up commentary. But I will maybe be back for the odd event here and there. Where I might, a couple of weeks into retirement, I might very well get bored and then immediately come back. You never know. But certainly looking forward to the end of this season, but it should be my final season as well. So looking very much forward to seeing the outcome of this one before we get underway. But, sad to be leaving, to be honest.
I will be, yeah. We'll talk about that next week, obviously, for the finale. To say a little bit of a goodbye to you, my friend. But I think we got the live track pictures back there in a second, hopefully, and it should be ready to go. Yes, we are. Apologies once again, fantastic. And there we have our changes.
Fantastic news. So let's get it underway. Looks like we are at the very beginning of the race. It is Richard Knight who leads over Stephen Cakebread with a reverse grid, and Stephen Cakebread unable to get a move done straight away, and it's Richard Knight that takes the lead into the inner loop. There's some big battles going on behind. This is always a recipe for disaster in the inner loop. Very easy to push somebody off through those corners, but Nicholas Newton and Rob Mackay, and I believe it's Nicholas Newton there, getting very, very acquainted with each other.
Some big crashes here too. This is a big one here.
Big crash. Yeah.
Oh! Straight into Reece Saunders as well.
Oh, Reece Saunders pretty much out of the race. He's going to have to tow back. He's never going to get that car back round to the finish in that state, and that is a disaster for Reece Saunders. Just as it was looking up, that was a big crash in the S's, and that is an area you do not want to see a crash in front of you. It's so hard to avoid, and the barrier is so close, very easy to get a car caught out right in front of you. As I'm not sure that was maybe that was Chris Keenan who got it all wrong into the outer loop, got a big swapper. And Ferrari behind him also got it very wrong as well, as a number of people getting it very wrong here in the opening laps at Watkins Glen. Not going well for you.
The whole synchronous slides there between Paul and I think that was there's so much action at the moment. It's very hard to even keep up. Oh, look at that! There's even another spin going in the background
as well. That's the final corner. Who's going to make it to the end of the third lap? Let's find out. It's going to be. You said there was going to be more aggression, and it's proving definitely to be the case. People are battling tooth and nail for these positions. That is the nature of these reverse grids as well. You tend to find you get people a lot quicker behind somebody, and it makes it more difficult to stop when they brake early. Causes concertina effects that affect people way down the grid, and obviously people trying desperately to hold on to those higher paying positions when they get that reverse, get those handed to them by the reverse grid. Sometimes drive a little over the limit, and you see there, that was Brian Demuy, the Porsche, in front of Daniel Nans there, getting a bit out of shape in the outer loop, but gets away with it. Very tricky, that Porsche, especially at a track like this with high speed corners. And it's going to be interesting to see, but a lot of people going for the Porsche this season, you've got to say. I think the Ferrari is probably the most popular car on the grid, and that Ferrari is going to be an absolute weapon here at Watkins Glen because it's so fast in a straight line.
Ferrari and, yeah, you're right, Ferrari and Porsche's the most popular cars, as you're seeing on Battle Up the Road. Rich and Knight there leading it from Matthew Hyland there, and Stephen Cakebread.
Matthew Hyland doing a fantastic job there to make that move on Stephen Cakebread. The pro driver, of course, loses out to the Pro-Am driver, and he gets himself up in a P2, and maybe thinking to himself, if I can keep this going and get my pace on the board, he's got a possibility here of maybe winning the race outright, which I believe would be the first time that we have ever seen a Pro-Am driver or an Am driver win over the pros. That would be a sight for sore eyes, and very perfect timing as well as we come into the final 2 races of the season. But Joe Glass with the fastest lap overall may have something to say that. That's quickly beaten by Brian Demuy with a 44.7. The fastest lap in real life here is a 44.286 by Alvaro Parenti. That was done in a Bentley GT Continental, and that was in 2019, so it'll be interesting to see how our guys are comparing to that. We've got a 144.22 from Luke Lucchese, who's down there in P15 at the moment. I do believe a crash there, but that's been and gone. Joe Glass looking very racy. He's had an up and down season so far. He's very, very racy in his blue, white and green Porsche here. He's looking forward to making up more positions, I imagine.
Oh no!
He tries.
Who's that made a mistake coming out of the corner? It's just because the Gagler car's here currently at the moment.
Nicholas Newton maybe has got a bit of a swapper there. Has went up 3 abreast there, but rightfully, I think Matt Barnett there in the pink and black BMW backed out of that one. Nicholas Newton now has got a lot to think about. So many drivers vying for his position behind him at the moment. BMW there of Daniel Nans, I believe it was, or it could be Nathan Matt Barnett. Apologise.
You know who's going to bring this back into play? Here he is here.
Tristan de Nebrega as well, and Luke Lucchese not far behind.
Oh.
Tristan de Nebrega not far behind either. He's still obviously in the hunt for his title, and with Rhys Saunders out of the race at the moment, along with Wesley Van Rens, Jeremy Uleman's in the pits for a while as well, and Robin Aston is in the pit lane as well. That means that could be that Tristan de Nebrega might be able to wrap it up today if he can gain enough points. He didn't get many in the first heat, so maybe not quite enough, but he could possibly win the championship in the pro category in the early stages. A double pit stop here from the South African boys.
They do that,
coming in one after each other. Yeah, and well, they're going to have different pit boxes, so it's not quite like F1 where they're going to get it held up with each other. But they're going for the same strategy as last week. They're going to try and pit early, 4 laps in, fuel the cars up till the end, and get themselves some nice clean air, and hope that gives them the jump over a lot of the drivers ahead, which is obviously a lot of drivers ahead in slower categories as well. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not they've got that kind of pace to get away while they've got that clean air. Let's have a look at the race start here in this replay and see how that went down. And it looks fairly clean for the majority through turn 1 at the front end. Big gaps there, you got to say. So it looks like the roll and start working well, but maybe a little too well. People are maybe caught napping a little bit, but we're going to see that big pile up here into turn 1. It just looks like, yeah, it's a couple of cars getting together, and that's the BMW there.
That's what took out Rhys Saunders, isn't it? That one there. That's ended his
yeah, he just had nowhere to go. Just had absolutely nowhere to go. Absolutely beautiful shots there from the blimp cam as well. Daniel Nans goes down the inside there of Nicholas Newton and causing him to check up, which means that he may be in danger of getting swallowed up by the 4 drivers queuing up behind him to take another position off him as well. It's Brian Demuy in the Porsche. Absolutely beautiful purple and, what would you call that? Cyan?
Yeah, you could call it cyan. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But,
so Matt Barnett goes into pit road. He's like, okay, I've had enough of that for now. Let's just time that strategy differently. Probably not a bad idea. You kind of wonder if some of the drivers at the very start of the race should just go in on lap 1, right? Considering all that carnage that happens, and then go out some clear track and put some absolute banker laps in there. If Reece Saunders is still in the chat there, I'm wondering. Maybe it's just a little too early, isn't it, going on lap 1. Full 30-minute race. But, you know, I don't know, is it better than you having to get caught into something like that? It's maximum risk, maximum reward, of course. It's always the case, isn't it? Here's Scotty, who won the first of our heat races here this evening.
Certainly did. And another absolutely fantastic livery. I have to say as well, the times that these guys are putting in, absolutely unbelievable. And even down at the back end of the field, Joseph Sparrow there in the pros, the back end of the field, putting in a 145 flat. My best around this track, in quali trip, you know, no fuel, is a 145.3. So I literally would be, you know, fighting it out amongst the very back of this field, everybody here. And I'm 2K I rating on iRacing at the moment.
Did you say 145?
I'm at my fastest lap around here in quali conditions is a 145.3.
I was going to say they're doing 46 as some of these drivers, so you'd be okay. And there's a challenge for the lead of this race currently at the moment. Oh, sorry for P2. As everybody start to catch the back there of Stephen Cakebread.
Matthew Hoyland has managed to get himself into the lead of the race, and Richard Knight drops 2 positions there. The man in the Porsche in the background there, getting under threat now by the caramel livery driver of Gary Mitchell, and doesn't seem to want to go for a big lunge into turn 1. Not the best idea at the best of times. That turn 1 corner does get very tight at the apex, and very easy to bump somebody way off track. And it gives you the X as well. If you push somebody off the track and it's a 0x that you hit them with, then yeah, it's enough to give you the 1x if they get a 1x for going off track. Not a lot of people know how the X system works in iRacing. Sometimes it feels like, especially when they keep bumping you. 4x's, of course, rack up very quickly in a race like this. We're 9 minutes down though of the 30 minutes. A lot of people still yet to make any kind of pit stops, but we have seen pit stops from the 2 South African boys, Luke Lucchese and Tristan de Nobrega. Interesting to see how they can come back and get involved.
Well, currently at the moment, Luke just put in the fastest lap too. So after they've come back out of pit road, and you can see they've got a 5.9 second gap down there from Chris Keenan, which you know they're going to be catching up pretty quickly at the moment as we're watching Richard battling it out here with Stephen.
Certainly is, and they've both got elbows out, door banging as they head around turns 9 and 10. It's a very difficult place to overtake these couple of corners. This corner here, so just a slight lift really. Tap at the brakes sometimes if you need to keep the car steady. This final corner is a lot of fun. It's got lots of camber down in the inside of the apex, and you pretty much kind of just tap the brakes and then you're on the throttle very early in order to get a very good run down into turn 1. I absolutely adore this racetrack, I've got to say. It is so much fun, it's so much of a challenge, and some great corners, some very difficult corners as well, some corners that you kind of learn to hate, and because you hate them so much you end up loving them, because when you get them right, when you get this track right, it just feels amazing to be able to swoop around. It's got an incredible flow to it.
I'm saying it correctly, as Steve is under some big time pressure from Joe Glass for the Glass Tech Racing team. Naturally, his name is very much there. We're going to go through. We are going to go almost through abreast here. I'm sure at some point it's going to go very right and very wrong.
Look at the dive there from Daniel Nance, and he gets that move done as well. Catches Joe Glass at napping. He wasn't thinking about the car behind, and he takes the opportunistic move, if I can get that word out there, and he almost tried to do the same again on Richard Knight as well, but that door closed pretty swiftly. And that is what I was talking about there as well, and how this racetrack promotes racing so much, as Richard Knight just going wide there by the looks of things and almost allowing Daniel Nance to poke his nose up the inside. He's got the outside now for the next corner, but Daniel Nance should be able to carry the speed. Oh, there's a contact that looks like neck code. Daniel Nance has gone pushed around sideways, and then Nicholas Newton hits him straight in the side, pushes them back around, and they both get going again. But that might be a little bit of damage there for Nicholas Newton. He may have to pit, and looks like that BMW is crabbing like mad, unless he was weaving to say thank you to Nicholas Newton for pushing him back around. But that's gone all kinds of wrong for Daniel Nance. He'll be disappointed, and that's the kind of nature of this championship and how tight that Pro-Am championship as well. Matthew Hyland here looking odds on to gain at maximum points, but still a long way to go. 7 seconds in the lead though. He's got a good chance here of winning this overall. I'm sure DXTV Live in chat will be absolutely thrilled with that result. And Richard Knight at the moment, yeah, a bit of netcode by the looks of things that caused that incident. Matthew Hyland there in that Lamborghini with the Italian racing stripe, absolutely dominating proceedings so far. Still a long way to go in this 30-minute race.
Don't go blaming on the netcode. It's driving. Who knows if it is or not? Joe Glass is going to will come back out and they're going to. Well, they're doing some overtakes, of course, because there's drivers in pit road. Yeah, let us know. DXT Live out there, probably focusing, of course, on his driver. When do you think Matthew's going to be heading down into pit road? There's still plenty of time, of course, in this race to go. But look at that. Look at this now. Let's see. Luke, we thought this was going to happen, didn't it? It's what we just about a lap or two to go. There was 6 to 7 second difference there, and boom, straight on past there. Chris didn't put up a fight at all. 2 different classes. Just lets them through. Trish is just a little bit down the road. I'm sure he's going to be right up on the back there. Once again, Chris Keenan's not going to put up much of a fight there. Let them continue up the road there, because it's going to be a great opportunity, of course, knowing that we do have Reece Saunders that's out of this race, as you saw on the accident. No fault to his own, just wrong place at the wrong time. That's what reverse grids do, don't they? Just make it more fun so that you can't just be running away with every single race.
Yeah, certainly makes it interesting. I don't think Reece Saunders will agree with that. James B-GP2 is saying in chat, DXT boys flying in this race. Absolutely are. Playing it long for Matty. And yeah, fingers crossed that that works out. You've obviously got Tristan de Brega and Luke Lucchese closing in fast, and they've already made their pit stop as well. Looks like their distance to go still towards the leaders, but it'll be interesting to see whether or not Luke and Tristan can take the lead of the race overall with this undercut. We've got Nathan Crook all over the back of Richard Knight here, and looks like he's going to try and go down the inside. Gets it done. Is it? No, he has not. Backs out of it heavily there, I suppose. I get the feeling he doesn't want to fight into that. As I said, it's very dangerous, that inner loop, and because in the same class, I'm surprised that he didn't kind of go for that. Maybe he feels as though better to wait for a better opportunity. Play it safe.
Halfway through the race now. 2 teammates here at the moment, Stephen Donnelly and Joseph. Isn't anything between these 2 drivers? Are they going to be able to slip through or not? They are different classes, so at this point you would have to say that Stephen's probably going to leave his teammate through here, so that Joseph can continue up the road there. And there it was, the switcheroo. Not yet, actually. No, this
nothing doing.
No,
at the moment. No, not quite understanding that message that says, Alonso is faster than you.
He has been of late, yes. For sure.
Yeah, Aston Martin certainly returning to form in the F1 for sure. Much to the disappointment of Mercedes, I imagine, who still haven't quite figured out how to make their engine and car work. Everybody else with the Mercedes engines sussed it out, but Mercedes not quite got there just yet. Have made improvements, of course, but as has Matthew Hyland in this feature race. Poor race to start in the heat, but he should be able to get maximum points here. Rob Mackay, his closest challenger in the Pro-Am category, and Cyan Sarakar Desla not too far behind. Nathan Crook and Mark Robinson heading into the pit lane. Nathan Crook looking to maybe get the undercut on Richard Knight, and hoping that that works out for him. Just a quick splash and dash to get to the end. That's all that's required. The mandatory pit stop is required as well, though, so we'll see everybody come into the pit at some point or another. Joseph Preston, Phil McConaughey and Jeremy Ulemans have all been in the pit for quite a long time as well. So I imagine they're all out of the race, along with Piers Berry, Wesley Van Rens and Reece Saunders, who got taken out lap 1. Wesley Van Rens also got caught up in that huge incident in the S's, lap 1. Such is the nature of racing, and obviously lap 1 always difficult. Well, it looked like a double move there from Mr. Gary Mitchell as he defended against Matthew Jones. It looked as though he kind of reacted to go back to the inside. That kind of put Matthew Jones off a little bit, but I feel as though that was maybe on the limit. What do you think, then?
Oh, well, yeah, you give and take.
Still left the cars with the outside of the track.
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those that's hard to judge. Maybe have to see that replayed several times. But I'm sure, no matter what, Matthew Jones is absolutely seething in that Porsche behind the caramel livery Porsche in front of him, because in the moment, as all drivers are once, especially me when I'm stuck in traffic like I was today, always giving it the biggin behind the wheel. It's always very easy when you've got a ton and a half of metal surrounding you. But, there's a move there on Chris H. Keenan, and that's Joe Glass getting past him. Joe Glass, of course, pitting, I believe, and that's how he's ended up behind. No, he has not.
Mistake there from Chris.
Yes, Chris H. Keenan just going wide.
I think Chris might have just literally just moved over and let him through there, because once again, saw Chris doing that before. And I think he's, he said, look, no, it's not my fight. I'm in the AM class, and he's currently, is sitting in that P10 overall, so he's probably happy with that position. We're going to have these cars. Look at this up the road here. Look at this is where Aaron Kirby's now in his battle.
He has, and he wants to maybe try and get a double overtake done here, but Matthew Jones in between, and he's going to have the outside line. He's defending hard here. Is Gary Mitchell. He does not want to give this position up. He wants to have the race, but he gets the move done, and maybe that's going to open a door here for Aaron Kirby as well, and he gets alongside on the outside. He's going to have the inside for the next corner, but I don't know if he's going to be able to get this done under braking. His door going to get closed on him. It's not just enough space is left, and Aaron Kirby gets his nose through and gets the position, and he defended valiantly there, Gary Mitchell, but he's ended up losing 2 positions anyway, and he could be about to lose a couple more as people are lining up to overtake him. Scott Kostrich behind now, and then Nathan Crook behind him, and it could be that Gary Mitchell has got a lot of thinking to do now. He's going to defend every single one of these positions as hard as he can by the looks of things. He doesn't want to give up any of these positions lightly, and I can't say I blame the man. Put a man on a race car and put him on a track next to another race car, he's going to race it.
There's your pit stops currently at the moment. The drivers are still yet to take them, and we're still seeing this racing going on. There's Scotty, of course, and Gary doing everything he possibly can, as you said, to maintain that position. Chris still has to go into pit road. That's probably another reason why Chris up the road there is just not getting involved too much in these battles at the moment. But because Chris is probably not going to cover off Nathan, is he? Because Nathan's already been in and out of pit road, so yes, Chris will end up losing out that. But Nathan's also getting held up a little bit here. He's also got to think about Richard Knight up the road there in P3, remember. What if Richard Knight has enough time to go in and out, 10 minutes to go, still cover off Nathan to be the leader of the AM class in the pit stops?
I've seen from the previous race in Interlagos that the undercut can prove to be very powerful, especially when it gives you a lot of clean air to race and just race your own race and not have to worry about other people making mistakes or under pressure when you're trying to overtake them. But Gary Mitchell looks like he's in a world of trouble at the moment. He's done his pit stop. He's going to be heading backwards for a little while now as Daniel Nans joins the back of the train that follows him. And it's Scott Kostrich desperate to get past. Looks like he's really going for the move there, but you switch cameras here to Paul Robson and Rob Mackay. As get past Nathan Cook.
Oh wait, there's a switch back over again. It has.
Oh, certainly has as well, yeah. So Rob Mackay.
What happened there? Is this a switch back through? Strange.
He just goes back up the inside and then can't defend it into that corner. You definitely want the inside line into that turn 10. And
so Richard goes in.
Very easy.
Rob goes in. And Sarakadasa. I couldn't even think of the name. Should be able to get it right.
Sarakadasa, yeah. You have to give that one a bit of practice, that one. You're going to say that one very slowly a few times before you can get that one. It's a tricky one. Tristan de Brega with the fastest lap of the race so far with a 43.47. Absolutely rapid. It actually almost 7/10 faster than the track record here in real life. That's not unusual in sim racing. Of course, in real life, it's harder to get to the limit because if you cross the limit in real life, there's a good chance you can die. Whereas in sim racing, you just press the reset button, go straight back on the track. The majority of cases in practice, at least. Anyway,
box for our race leader. Sorry to cut you off on that one too. So that you've heard it from out there from DXT Live. They'll put Matthew Hoyland in now. Now, that's going to be up to Joe Glass now, isn't it? Joe Glass in P6, overall second in class. Is it going to be enough time for that to happen? That'll be very, very interesting. We'll keep an eye on that as we're still keeping an eye on this battle that's brewing up there. Scotty's managed to get past them and continue his way up the road there. Nathan, that's battling here, of course, is there is Nathan done someone up the inside.
Oh, there's the dive.
Yes.
There is the dive. And Daniel Nance is going to try and take advantage of that, try and go around the outside. Maybe no, you switch back to the inside for the next corner. Toe, and here comes our leader boxing now after the call from the pit wall.
Now where is... I'm going to cut you off. There's Joe. There's Joe. So is that going to be enough time? Of course,
pitted already. Stephen Cakebread follows Matthew Hoyland in as well. 7 minutes remaining here of the 30. And starting to get into interesting times as well. Is Luke Lucchese and Tristan Dinabrega, are they going to be able to pull off this 200 IQ move as well? Are they going to be able to take the lead? It looks like they have. Luke Lucchese goes in front. So Matthew Hoyland doing a fantastic job out there, but still unable to compete with these pro drivers. We will not see a Pro-Am driver win a race for the first time. Unfortunately, that is, unless, of course, Matthew Hoyland comes out and just shows some absolutely immense rapid pace. But he has got the toe from Tristan Dinabrega as well, so that could help him out massively, that he's come out just within the toe there. That's going to mean that if he can stick with him, that he's going to maybe get a fair bit of pace extra there. That's going to help him get away from Joe Glass. 7 seconds the gap. Undercut does not work out for the P2 driver in the Pro-Am class at the moment.
No, you can see it. Currently, yes. So it's worked out brilliantly for the DXT racing team. As you see, Aaron Kirby somewhat up on the inside.
Almost opened the door for the Porsche of Matthew Jones behind. He gets Stephen Cakebread as well, but either he didn't see him coming or he just saw him coming and closed the door flat in his face, slammed it shut, and nowhere to go. But that would have been a very risky move from the Porsche driver. As we see here, Gary Mitchell still defending for his life. Daniel Nance unable to get past. Now it's maybe going to be a 3 wide here into toe. Daniel Nance loses out that position there to Brian DeWee, and there's contact. They've taken each other out. Looked like the livery driver just understeered a little bit there into him. He managed to hold the brakes there and then reverses off the racing line. Does well to not be joined there. Would have been very easy to just try and get going again straight away. Let's have a replay of that and see how that happened. It looks like there is the Karabelas driver, Gary Mitchell, just understeers straight into him. And Daniel Nance there, you've got to say, absolutely fully aware about what was about to happen there, was he not? He was fully prepared to slam on the brakes and avoid contact. Great racecraft and awareness from Daniel there.
Good job. Very good. As Nathan's keeping it quiet up here with Scotty as well. Look at that. Tucked up on the gearbox there, the AM driver. Scotty, the Pro AM driver.
Definitely knows he's been absolutely rapid through the last few races, has Nathan Crook, regularly finishing in the top 10 from the AM category. But be interesting to see how these guys shuffle around for next season. Obviously, a lot of these guys are put into their categories based on their I rating, which doesn't tell the entire story. League racing very different to just jumping into a random race with random people. And of course, if you're anything like me and you like racing lots of different types of cars and lots of different types of tracks, it's very easy to absolutely demolish your I rating and get it a lot lower than it should be. And a lot of people just don't care about it either. I mean, personally, I don't. I've hit 2K and then I've not raced since, really, because I hit my goal and as I say, not really had the time to get behind the wheel often myself these days. But I have to say, it's been an absolute 200 IQ move. Luke Lucchese and Tristan Dinabrega again with the undercut. Did the same thing last week in Interlagos, and it's worked wonders for them there. And they've thought, well, we'll just do that again. It seemed to work last time, and it's worked wonders for them now here as well. They've managed to get through the entire field, barely overtaking many people because of the undercut. Everybody pits in front of them and just half like the Reds. It works out lovely. Imagine how many people now are going to start watching these races back, see that, and then start doing the same thing. And then that maybe it's not going to work anymore if everybody's doing the same thing. Maybe they'll go back and revert to the other method, stay out. gain second.
Yeah, but it depends on, I guess, it's track dependent, isn't it? And traffic and all that sort of stuff at play, because you got Silverstone, the final round, plural, of course, our sprinted feature. And here's a little three-way battle that's brewing up just here. Currently, we're looking at ourselves down into the 16s, 15, 16, and look at that. It doesn't really matter who's where or what. In class, they're going for it tooth and nail.
Certainly are, these three drivers. Not willing to give up any positions. Richard Knight, Brian DeMuy, and Hussein Sarah Tesla on your screens at the moment, and getting very tight there. The gap between those two, Brian DeMuy and Richard Knight, and Brian DeMuy's got the outside line here for the chicane. It's going to help you in the second part, not the rest of it. And very, very tight racing there from these two drivers. Ultimate bravery there, as he has to get on the brakes a little bit there, does Richard Knight. Not entirely necessary in that corner in the GT3 car. You can pretty much just lift off in order to get the turn in required, and gives that one up in the end. But takes a little battle between the different categories there. Some drivers in this league certainly just give up places very easily to other categories. Others just fight for it tooth and nail regardless. They don't care whether they're in a different category. They're happy to race.
Well, these two are exciting. Well, these two are racing in their category. Matthew Jones and Scott Cross-trick. And then you got Nathan, who's in the background, who's in the AM class. So he's just sitting back at the moment. He's leading, remember, in his class, but he's loving this battle with him when he's done that all season, hasn't he? He's like, yeah, I'll bring up the big boys. Doesn't matter if I've got a little bronze colour next to my name. I want to. He
certainly has. And he's had very, very consistent finishes as well in the AM categories. Lowest finish, P6. A lot less drivers in the AM category than the others, but you saw you've got to beat what's in front of you, essentially, and he's done a good job of doing that so far. He's got P2 in the championship by 57 points behind Matt Barnett, who at the moment is down in P4, P21 overall, long way behind, and it's going to be a very good chance of gaining a lot of points here over Matt Barnett. Nathan Cook won the first round in the heat as well, so that's 100 points here if he can hold on to this position. So he does not want to get involved in any risky business with these two, with Matthew Jones and Scott Kostrich. He just wants to follow these guys, and they've all caught up to Stephen Cakebread as well, and could be, this is going to be our last lap. I imagine it will be on white flag situation, as Luke Lucchese is going to dominate this one. Tristan de la Brega told us last time in chat when we were doing the replay file on Monday that we need to watch out for Luke Lucchese at Watkins Glen. He said his pace was going to be immense, and he's definitely lived up to that here today. P2 in the first race, P1 in the second race, only P2 in the first race simply because he made an error in that inner loop and hit the barrier after going very, very wide. But he's going to check the checkered flag here in Watkins Glen. He's going to flash his lights, weave across the road, and his teammate is going to come home a solid P2. And these two guys have got so many 1-2s under their belt this season, it's anybody's guess that I would not bet against them in the team championship. They're currently P2 in the team championship as well, just behind John Lubrook and Nathan Crook. Nathan Crook taking home maximum points here as well. Means that there may not be much of a change between them, but only 32 points there in the team championship between those top two. Everything's still to play for on that front, and it's off to Silverstone next, where things are going to get really spicy, and it could be last chance saloon for a lot of people, and they're going to be very cautious, possibly, or very aggressive, possibly, just in order to get those hands, their grubby little paws on one of those trophies.
Grubby little paws on one of those trophies. Yes, exactly. It's going to be a lot of fun in Silverstone, and once again, that South African duo have done it. Timed their pits perfect. It was just unfortunate, of course, that we didn't get to see Reece Saunders give them a good run for their money like he did in the first heat race because of the accident. Reece, you don't hang around and have a yarn, do you? I guess he just gets frustrated, doesn't he? That happened. Just wants to take...
We've certainly all been there. Last thing you want to do is talk about what just went wrong when it wasn't your fault. You've been punting into a wall. Lap one of a race where you really needed, and I imagine Reece felt the same way, really needed a win. He obviously got the win in the first heat. He'll take that 50 points, but it's interesting because these feature races, it's definitely possible to make a comeback if you have an early accident. If you tow, you do get a fast repair. You can get back out and going again. If you've got the pace of Reece Saunders, you can certainly gain some positions, and that's going to help you fight at the end of the season as well. Every little point counts. You've got to remember as well, think back to 2021 when there was only a point between, I believe it was, wasn't it? It was a point between them at the end. Very, very tight. Championships can be won or lost over half a point. I've seen that before as well. But here are your results for your feature race. It is Luke Lucchese, the lucky cheese man. Number 225 in the Ferrari wins Watkins Glen here in Dix, New York. And it's Tristan Dinnebrega in second place. Once more, another fantastic 1-2 for the two South African boys. Matthew Hoyland does a fantastic job, wins this one, but had a poor first round. But Joe Glass, P2, will gain some tasty positions maybe in the Pro-Am category in the championship. It's Aaron Kirby in P5, followed by Stephen Cakebread in P6, Scott Kotrish in P7, and Matthew Jones in P8. Nathan Crook wins the AM category, and it's Paul Robinson in P10 overall, P5 in the Pro category. As we see in your background there, I believe the two South African boys are doing donuts together. Fantastic stuff. Daniel Nance in P11, got a bit lucky with that accident in front of him in the toe, but Nicholas Newton gets P12 overall. Rob Mackay in P13, and so Hussein Sarakar Desla in P14. Richard Knight gets P2 in the AM category. It certainly looks to be close racing between him and some others around him. Paul Cowlishaw in P16. Wonder if he maybe had something happen to him here in this feature race that we didn't catch, because you would expect him to be a bit higher up. Gary Mitchell fought his absolute heart out, fought like a lion, and finishes P17 overall. Did get mugged a little bit by a few people. Ewan Stitchbury P20 and Jamal Gandua P19, followed behind Mark Robinson in P18. Ewan Stitchbury and Jamal. But Ewan Stitchbury especially would be disappointed with that finish there. Maybe he had more pace, maybe he got some damage. Matt Barnett in P21 could lose out in his championship fight here to Nathan Crook, as there's only 57 points separating them, and Matt Barnett not getting good finishes here today at Watkins Glen. Not his track by the looks of things. Byron Demi in P22, Chris Keenan in P23, and then Joseph Sparrow in P24, and John Ludbrook in P25. Again, must not be a track that he has done a lot of practice on. Everybody else looks like they didn't finish all, finished a lap behind. But it's been a very exciting Watkins Glen. We'll move on to interviews. We've got a few people sitting and waiting. We'll start, do you think, with the race winner? What do you think about that?
Yeah, go for it. Absolutely. Let's have a yarn to Luca.
Oh, it is the lucky cheese man himself. Welcome, Luke. It's your first win of the season, I believe. You must be very satisfied with that one.
Yeah. It's a pity I couldn't do it in race one. I made a bit of a mistake coming into the bus stop. Just took a little bit, well, actually too little curb, and then bounced off the curb. And otherwise I would have had that one in the bag as well.
At any point while you were following in the tail end of that first heat there, did you ever think, maybe I'm just going to send it on Reese because that would have helped out your teammate if it had gone wrong?
Yeah, the problem is not really, because I had damage on the right-hand side of the car, so I just couldn't get close enough to actually do a move.
He is a speedy boy as well himself, Reese Saunders. Very tough competition in the season so far, would you say, this season?
Yes, definitely.
Fantastic. We've got lots of interviews to get through, so we're going to keep this one short. But thank you for joining us here, Luke, and wish you the best of luck in Silverstone. And hopefully you can get your hands on one of those trophies with a late surge in the championship. But thank you for your time.
Thanks. All right, cheers.
We'll move on then to his teammate, Tristan Dinnebrega. P2 overall, another 1-2 for the South African boys. Another top, strong finish. And with Reese Saunders being killed early on in that feature race, you must be thinking that you've got one hand on that trophy now for the pro category. What do you think?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Not too bad. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, good. Yeah, tonight was a bit of a weird one. I think, after race one, where things got a bit tight. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but wasn't too fortunate. So hopefully the stewards sort that one out. And then, that obviously dropped me back out of the points and kind of worked up back to 22nd. So lost a lot of points in race one, and then just to come through race two and have a clean one was definitely, and to get another 1-2 definitely brought the smile back on the face. So yeah.
And you warned us last week as well, earlier this week I should say, but it was last week's race that we were commentating on Monday, that to watch out for Luke Lucchese. Your teammate's done a fantastic job today, hasn't he?
Yeah, even just in practice, I could see. I call this Luke's Glen, because he's so quick around this track, and he's just got the lines hooked up. So yeah, I knew he was going to be a threat, and I mean, with the points as they stand, I was quite comfortable just to try and follow him and maximize the points. So yeah, I think he did really well tonight, and like I say, I'm happy just to walk away with a P2 in race 2. And yeah, you don't want to wish ill on your rivals, but yeah, it was unfortunate to see Reese and Ewan both drop out early on. But yeah, one round left, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, you've got a healthy points lead. You're definitely in a position that you want to be. How do you feel about Silverstone as a track?
I absolutely love Silverstone, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, that's what I love to hear. My favourite track of all time, really. And one of my best ones as well. We're going to let you go, though, Tristan. Thank you very much for your time coming in for an interview. I wish you the best of luck next week. And yeah, congratulations on a good result today.
Cool. Thank you, gents. I'll catch you next week.
Okay. So I think we'll bring in Matthew Hoyland for the final interview and go from there. It's DXT Live, always ever present in our chat there, Matt, giving you all of the support that you need, and you've done a fantastic job there in the feature race. Another win under your belt, but how much was the pressure getting to you after that first heat didn't go your way? It's very, very tight in your Pro-Am category, isn't it?
Yeah, I was really aware of the points, and I think it got to me a little bit today. Race 1 was poor. There's no other way of putting it. Apologies to Stephen into turn 1. I don't know what happened. It pulled in front of me, and it was like someone had just pulled my front brakes out, and I just couldn't get it stopped. So apologies to him, but yeah, at least I'm glad to get a decent race 2. Managed to break away at front, and obviously the two absolutely ridiculously quick guys managed to get me at the end. But yeah, I'm not too upset otherwise.
I mean, they've pulled it off again. They've done the 200 IQ strategy move, pitted it early, got some clean air, banged in some absolutely belter laps, and managed to get you. But only 4 seconds behind, within 5 seconds of those two guys. You've got to be extremely proud of your pace here at Watkins Glen. Did you ever think that maybe the overall win was on the cards?
It would have been nice. I mean, DXT Live, as you say, is always in your chat. He's always in our ears as well. So you said, "Oh, Luke and Tristan have boxed," so like, yeah, they're definitely going to get me. I know what's going to happen. I'm going to box, and they're going to come flying past. But in fairness, I was closer to them than I expected to be. I thought they'd probably be a good 10 seconds clear of me by the time I came out. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with pace overall. I definitely felt more comfortable in the second race.
Fantastic stuff. And it's Silverstone next. How do you feel about that? What do you think you can take home this championship there?
I'll try my best. I've actually done very little running around there on iRacing. I don't think I've ever driven GT3s around there, so definitely need to get a little bit of practice in before next week. Obviously, things are very close. I'm not sure how it's going to pan out after today, but I know there's 4 or 5 of us that can still technically win it at this point. So yeah, I need to be on good form and up for best.
Fingers crossed for you. We'll let you go. Enjoy the rest of your evening and call it a night. But congratulations on your win in the feature race today, and best of luck next week.
Cheers, guys. Thanks.
Take care. So there we have it. It's another race done. Lots of drama, lots of incidents, and even a shout there to get the stewards involved there from Tristan de Brega in the interviews as well. I wonder if maybe there's going to be a bit of afters in Silverstone, a bit of fisticuffs maybe after the race in the pit lane as well, a la Schumacher style. This is a NASCAR racetrack after all as well, Watkins Glen. So yeah, maybe a few punches being thrown in the pit, in the paddock at the moment. It's always a firm fan favourite in NASCAR, getting the drivers to have a bit of a punch up if they've got if they've taken each other out. But once more, it's another fantastic week of racing here at Evolution Sim Racing. 1 race left. It's Silverstone GP, and I'm very much looking forward to it. How about you, Biggles?
Oh, absolutely, of course. It'll be the finale, and it's, as you said, it's close in some of the tight rounds there. So, and the championship standings between the different classes. So, find out, of course, in the finale. That's it, my friends, isn't it? So, stay safe, take care, and we'll see you next week.